Okay, we're gonna load the bump map shader now, so let's first go load that up. And let's go see what parameters we have. As you can see, we can choose a bitmap image to use from this box over here. This could be a TGA, a JPEG, whatever you want. So let's choose the calligraphy JPG we have over there. Then what you can do is you can set the U and the V reps over here. That basically controls the repetitions of the pattern across the surface. So you can 2 and 2. Let's apply to object to see what that looks like. As you can see, we have a pretty cool bump map on top of our cube object over there. Then there's also the U and V offset over here. So that allows us to control the offset of the initial positioning of the texture map in regards to the object's UV space. So we can pull that over, now let's offset it, and let's change the material preview so we can see it better how it's offsetting it. Let's change this to 1, enter, and let's change that one to 0.5. As you can see, we can offset it really nicely over there. Let's apply to object to see what that looks like now. So you can keep on changing your texture like that, and there's also the amplitude setting over here, which allows us to set the amplitude of the bump. So decreasing it makes the bump appear to stick out less. So let's try that, and increasing it makes it seem to stick out more. So let's apply to object to see what that looks like. As you can see, with a lower amplitude, the texture map looks much better now. The bump comes out only slightly, and it allows us to see the words much more clearly. Then there's the anim setting and FLT setting. The anim setting allows texture map AVI files to animate it on a frame per rendered frame basis. So we can load up an AVI file. So load up the calligraphy.avi file over here. Then what we can do is check that, and when we go animate our object, we'll be able to see a difference. So let's start at frame 0 and see what the object looks like. As you can see in frame 0, we have only a slight bump map across the upper corner of the cube. So let's change it to frame, let's say, 5, and see what that looks like. As you can see in frame 5, the bump map has expanded because our animated bump has expanded. Let's increase in frame 10 to see what that looks like. As you can see, the bump map has now expanded to cover the entire area. That's pretty useful to have. There's this FLT function over here, which basically allows us, when checked, it will allow the texture map to be filtered rather than point sample when it's rendered, so that it'll smooth out the jaggedy lines that are on it. So let's try to see what that looks like. As you can see, the bump map now is much smoother. Try it out and see what you can do with it.